Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring Talengarde. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this epic fantasy board game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about Edifices, the tables, pretty much the final part of the instruction manual, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this old school board game. When it comes to edifices and money, in the land of Talengarde, there are buildings wherein items or services that can aid heroes in their quests may be obtained. Heroes may enter each of the buildings in a town only once, until they have visited another town or outpost. So there are many places to explore, such as crypts, ruins, and caves. In the case of the caves, these areas of the board are without light of their own, so unless your hero has some sort of illumination, it will cost 3 movement points instead of 1 to travel through these spaces. And of course, when it comes to crypts and ruins, there are going to be many dangerous encounters. According to the tables, the chances of encountering something in these places goes up, but the risk is also greater. When it comes to the Temple of Talengarde, this is one of the main focal points of the board. Quests are obtained at the temple and heroes must return there with their completed quest to win the game. Upon entering the temple, beings are restored to their full health, with all wounds and lost lives restored. When it comes to the Oracle, heroes usually need some guidance in their quests. The Oracle is designed just for that purpose. Here your character can obtain Oracle cards and spells by rolling 1 die and then using the Oracle table. The Oracle cards are steps that tell you how to proceed towards your quest, and of course to win the game. Fortresses provide teleportation gates that are stable. You can use them to move through the board, to teleport yourself, or even summon creatures. To use this gate, you must enter and pay a fee, or defeat the encounter that is guarding the fortress in case this fortress is isolated. So you are usually going to visit gates at towns. Those only require payment. The other buildings are quite easy to understand, such as the armory, the apothecary, the stables, the shipyard, the churches, the inns. Various services are available there. You can even choose to rob the establishment or haggle. The beautiful thing about this game is that you never know what you're going to encounter. Sometimes you enter the armory or apothecary and you make a roll, and you could find the choice of 1 item at double the price. Perhaps 2 items, perhaps 3 items at half price. Perhaps when you enter the inn, you get into a brawl. Maybe you find a companion. Maybe a companion with equipment and gold. At the end of this rules booklet, you have a rules and terminology section, with concepts such as armor, artifacts, automatons, exceptions, experience, fire dwellers, flying, freezing, gates. This game can get a bit complex, to the point that sometimes you feel as if you are playing one of those simulationist RPGs. Luckily, at the end of the booklet, you have a table of contents. So overall, what do I think of Talengarde? I love this board game, and just like I mentioned in part 1, if you find a copy of this game at $50 or below, buy it immediately, because this goes into the hundreds of dollars. It is somewhat of a rare board game. However, it is not without its flaws. Concerning the components, I have already mentioned that they are not exactly the best in terms of quality. When it comes to the rule set itself and the flow of the game, this was a pioneer board game. So there are many modern board games that solved many issues related to the pace of the game, the downtime. For example, this feels a lot like a noticeably luck-driven version of Mage Knight the board game. It feels a lot like that. For those of you that haven't played the Mage Knight board game, it is such an amazing game. You go through these valleys, mountains, forests, recruiting allies, attacking fortresses, taking cities. It is amazing, one of my favorite board games of all time. And Talengarde is pretty much like that, but it is a lot more luck driven. So you play this game trying to push your luck, getting into battles, knowing when to run away, thinking if it's better to obtain some equipment, allies, spells before attempting to visit a dangerous area or site, trying to figure out the best moment to attack the other competitors, the other players. Because unlike Mage Knight, in this game you really want to be as cutthroat as possible. In Mage Knight there is still a chance for the players that have been engaging in conflicts to recover. It is not going to be easy, but when it comes to Talengarde, the other players can kill you right away. If the players get lucky, they can find incredibly powerful artifacts that turn them into effectively the main boss of the game. There were a couple of games where this player became pretty much unstoppable. He had this powerful weapon and was moving around with a powerful group of adventurers following him. Another player matched him, almost in power, almost, and they fought each other in the field. Sadly, that game did not go well for me. I was pretty far behind, so I could only witness the clash between the two powerful players. And sadly, the player that was the Sauron of the game, he pretty much annihilated the other player and went on, completed his quest and won the game. So you really have to pay attention to that, identify the players that are the greatest threats and eliminate them immediately. The game also has some clumsy moments when you are encountering different enemies and you need to draw weapons, spells for that enemy to fight. You need to pause the game and then you look through all of the decks and you start to pull out the different cards. Oh yes, here's the sword that the enemy is using and here's the other spell. So that takes a bit of time. It is not the worst. I am quite patient when it comes to those fiddly aspects, but perhaps there are people that want to speed up things. I don't think this board game is going to be for you. But if you want to spend some time talking with your friends and family while you are enjoying the game and you are feeling as if you are engaging in this simulationist RPG without it being a role-playing game, Talengarde will not disappoint you. There are so many random results, some very crazy things that could happen even at the start of the game. As you are choosing your adventurer, maybe you end up controlling a powerful undead, an enemy. As your character, that is, not even as a summoned being. You are actually playing as perhaps a lich or a mummy, that's your character. So depending on various factors, you may even start the game with some advantages. So if you don't mind that, if you don't mind the swinginess, the unexpected results, the push your luck aspect, trying to match your strategies and tactics with the huge 50% luck factor that is going to affect the entire game, then Talengarde is the fantasy board game for you. Thank you for watching this review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.